So Liverpool turn their attentions back to the FA Cup on Sunday when they host Norwich City in the fourth round at Anfield. And Jurgen Klopp's been getting some decent news on the injury front recently. That crisis that Liverpool were going through is slightly starting to ease. They're starting to get some players back, but the fixtures keep coming thick and fast, don't they? And that's the consequences of trying to challenge on four fronts. So I still think that this is a real opportunity, with it being against a championship side and at home. It's a chance really for Jurgen Klopp to rotate and make sure he's protecting his players. So I've had a little go at picking my starting 11 in this one. As usual, I'm going to ask you, in the comments, please let me know what you think. What would your starting 11 look like? Maybe you completely disagree with my selection. Always good to hear what you would go with for these games. But as I say, I've had a go at picking my 11, so I'm going to give it to you now. And I think I'm going to start with the goalkeeper as usual. And I think this one's a slightly easier one, really. We've seen, Kevin Kelleher's come in, hasn't he, in the League Cup. He is the League Cup goalkeeper. We've seen him get a lot of minutes in the Europa League as well so far this season. But the FA Cup, that seems to always be Alisson's competition. So for me, I think we will see Alisson come back in for this one. I think Kelleher is, as I say, is the League Cup goalie. He's always going to get minutes there. But I think the FA Cup is a real opportunity for Alisson to come in. It's interesting, actually. There's a decision to make, isn't there, when we get into the Europa League knockout stages, which goalkeeper he goes with there, whether he sticks with a bit of Kelleher and giving him minutes there, or whether Alisson comes in to hopefully see Liverpool through to winning the trophy. But I think there's no doubt in the FA Cup that this is Alisson's competition, and he will be straight back between the sticks for that one now. I move into the defence, and obviously some decent news around Trent Alexander-Arnold in terms of he's getting quite close, but he did miss training, I think, in the latter part of the week. He's not quite back to full fitness, that's for sure, and the hope will be that he can squeeze into the squad for this one and be available. But even if he does so, I'd really be surprised if he gets that start at right back. I think the best you can hope for in this situation really is to get 30 minutes in his legs as a substitute, and then he can hopefully be in line to start against Chelsea. But for that reason, the fact that he's probably likely to be a sub, I think you could maybe ask Conor Bradley to go again. Now, he's been so impressive this season so far when he's come in, hasn't he? And obviously he got through a lot of work in that Fulham game in midweek, but so it's difficult to ask him to go again. But I think you want to protect a young player, yes, but if you're saying to him, okay, you've only got to get through an hour here, just give it everything you have, and then you can get a little rest because Trent's going to come on and hopefully get some minutes in his legs. I think that Bradley has got enough in him certainly to go to the well again. And I mean, he's a young player, they're always enthusiastic, so he'll absolutely be up for that. So he's my starting pick at right back for that reason. Now, alongside him in defence, I'll start with the first centre half there, and I've gone with Ibrahima Konate. Now, obviously, he missed out against Fulham, didn't he? That you want to protect Konate. He does have those sort of that tendency to pick up muscle injuries, doesn't he? So the intensity of 3 games in 8 days, I think it would have been for him if he'd started at Fulham, started this as well, and then maybe started against Chelsea, would have been a little bit too much. But I think he's ready to maybe go back-to-back in this one and then be ready for Chelsea. And also, Jurgen Klopp talks a lot, doesn't he, about rhythm. Yes, you want to protect players from muscle injuries, but for Konate to sit out 2 games on the bounce, you lose that rhythm and the sharpness that you get from playing games. So I think he'll absolutely want to bring him in for a start for this one. And as I say, I've no doubt he'll be on the starting lineup for Chelsea as well straight after that. Now, alongside him, Jarell Quansah I've gone for here, and that again, rhythm's part of it, yes, but Virgil van Dijk played against Fulham, didn't he? So you want to protect him, and I think a home game against lower league opposition is a really good chance for Virgil van Dijk to be pulled out of the starting lineup. Really, I think you still have to protect him, doesn't he? As well as he's playing as robust as he generally is, you do want to look after him and use that rotation. And Jarell Quansah is fully part of that rotation. That's something Jurgen Klopp spoke about in his press conference ahead of this game, is that he sees Quansah as one of his senior options now. He's not just a kid who gets chances in the cups. He's ready to come in for Konate. He's ready to come in for Van Dijk. He's absolutely part of that rotation. So I think the Konate and Quansah partnership we might see in this one, it protects Van Dijk. It keeps Konate in rhythm. And it's another really good opportunity for Quansah to show what he's about. Even though we know how good he is, he's been absolutely fantastic this season. Now, just finish up in the defence and at left back. I think kind of a little bit of a tricky pick now. Of course, Joe Gomez has done a really good job there recently, but I think he's done 90 minutes on the bounce now. And now, Joe Gomez, we know, has had his injury problems in the past. You really want to look after him. He's such a crucial part of the squad. So really wouldn't like to see him make it 7 games on the bounce that he's starting here, because I think you don't want to see him start picking up those muscle injuries, because he could really ruin his season. And he's so crucial. Covers so many positions, doesn't he? And of course, Andy Robertson, yes, he's back. He was in the squad against Fulham, didn't manage to get any minutes there, but I still think in this one it's a bit of a risk to throw him straight in for a start. So maybe he will be a substitute, and for that reason, I've gone with Owen Beckett left back. Now, of course, obviously he'd been at Dundee, hadn't he, at the start of the season, and Liverpool had brought him back, and then he couldn't play in that FA Cup game against Arsenal due to a suspension carried over from Scotland. That was really unfortunate, but I think he's been getting rave reviews at Dundee, and I think he really deserves an opportunity to show that to make the fact he was called back to Liverpool worthwhile. In fact, you don't want to sort of cut short a loan like that without giving him something back. And yes, he appeared against Bournemouth as a substitute, but I think to give him a start here, it would be great to see another academy player given an opportunity. And I also think his use against Bournemouth was interesting actually, because it kind of ruled him out from a move to Celtic. They were sniffing around a potential permanent move, and then I think Jurgen Klopp sort of made that move to bring him on against Bournemouth and effectively rule that out because of the rules around you can't play for 3 different clubs in a single season. And I think that was to sort of quieten things down around his potential future and just show him that Liverpool like him, they brought him back for a reason, and there's belief in him. So I think to really back that up, it would be really nice to see him come into this game, because it is against Championship opposition. It is at Anfield. There's less risk in using young players in situations like that where they're likely to be slightly more comfortable. And as I say, you've got to make it worthwhile that he came back from Dundee. So I would love to see him in the starting lineup for this, and hopefully another impressive performance from an academy player, because we've seen so many recently. This season's been defined really by the contributions from some of the academy kids. So hopefully he can be next off the production line, and hopefully a decent performance from him here. So I'm just going to move into the midfield now, and the holding role, again, I think slightly tricky pick this one. McAllister's got through a lot of football recently, and you really want to protect him, but unfortunately his rotational option there in Wataru Endo, he's still away at the Asian Cup, isn't he, with Japan, so your options are slightly thin there. But I think we saw a clue at Fulham as to who maybe could come in for a start here if McAllister's protected, and I think it might be Curtis Jones. Now, he came on, didn't he, around the hour mark for McAllister at Fulham to play that holding role, and we've seen him there before as well. In pre-season, it was something that Jurgen Klopp wanted to try out before he settled on McAllister as his holder in the end. And I think he is capable of playing there. Again, it is Championship opposition at Anfield. That's should give you some capability to try things out. Maybe use a player in a position where he's not hugely comfortable, but he's certainly capable, Jones. He's got all the qualities to play in that position, the intelligence, the ability to keep the ball and take the ball in tight areas, and obviously his combativeness. He wins challenges and wins duels, so got no doubts about him there. So I think he maybe comes into that game to start there. And of course, he was left out of the starting lineup against Fulham because there was slight concerns about that muscle injury he thought he might have picked up at Bournemouth. He made a sensible decision to come off there in the end, didn't he? And that protected him from getting an injury. So maybe just to get him back into a little bit of rhythm before Chelsea, which I absolutely expect him to start, maybe just does at least an hour here, and that protects McAllister. And as I say, I think he's capable of playing that holding role 100% in a game that Liverpool will expect to dominate as well. So moving forward in the midfield now, obviously there's a vacancy on that left-hand side of the 2 number 8s. If Jones doesn't start there, he's generally the nailed-on starter. And I would quite like to see Gravenberch get another opportunity in that position. I thought arguably one of his best games for Liverpool so far, really, at Fulham, in terms of he kept the ball, he used it well, he won his duels, won his challenges. He was a big part of why Liverpool were so dominant in that game, and he tired towards the end, which he tends to do. I think he could do with a full pre-season under Jurgen Klopp under his belt, but I think he was starting to show his quality there, and I'd love to, I don't expect him to start against Chelsea, if I'm honest, and for that reason, I think another opportunity to put him in the team here, and hope to keep that little good run of form going, because as I say, so impressive against Fulham, and you want to nurture that form, you want to sustain it if you can. So hopefully a good opportunity for him to come in at Anfield and really keep that going now. Alongside him, the right-hand side of those number 8s, obviously Dominic Szoboszlai, we expect to be back in contention for this one. He's been really missed, hasn't he? Although Liverpool have kept the results going, he's been a crucial player so far this season until he picked up that hamstring injury. But I think Liverpool are going to be careful with him. Even if he comes back into the squad for this one, it's another one where you think a substitute appearance gets him ready for Chelsea. You don't want to push him into starting straight away and have to get through 60 minutes, particularly with hamstring injuries. Really got to be careful with how you manage that. So, for that reason, I've gone with a youngster in this position, and it's Bobby Clark. And I think Jurgen Klopp was singing his praises in the press conference, said, I want to show everyone that he's ready, and he absolutely is ready to come in and play a part for Liverpool in the first team. And again, championship opposition at Anfield, can't say it enough. These are the chances you really should be giving to young players, particularly one who, when you thinned, your options are thinned in midfield. And if Jurgen Klopp has as much belief in Bobby Clark as he says, and I think he absolutely does. He's one who absolutely believes in his young players and is willing to give them opportunities. And I think Bobby Clark is ready to come in and play that role. This is the role that Liverpool have moved him into in the academy. He initially started out as a winger, but he's been more of a sort of right-sided number 8 since he's been at Liverpool, and he's massively thrived there. He's able to win challenges. He's a goal threat. He has that ability to dribble from when he was a winger as well. So, I think it's a perfect opportunity really for him to take up that position. And he kind of profiles similarly to Szoboszlai as well. So I think, it really suits him down to the ground. So I would love to see Bobby Clark get a start in midfield for this one. I'm going to finish off now with the forward line. And again, a few tricky picks in this one. I want to start off by saying that I'm not picking Darwin Núñez in this one. And I think, again, he's played back-to-back games there against Bournemouth and Fulham. You want to protect him because he has to be in the starting 11 for me against Chelsea. He's such a threat, isn't he? So important at the moment. So he absolutely has to miss out on this one. So for that reason, some tricky picks, because you still don't have, of course, Mohamed Salah. He's away at AFCON at the moment, and that really hurts you on that right hand side, the right wing, doesn't it? That's where Jurgen Klopp has always got a tough pick in this period. And I think, again, Luis Diaz, I want to protect him. I think he's going to be in the starting 11 against Chelsea, so he doesn't come in on the right hand side for me. No, Ben Doak still injured at the moment. He's expected back in April. And Kay Gordon, he maybe would be in contention for this right hand side, but he wasn't in the squad against Fulham. And I would have thought if he was going to start this one, Jurgen Klopp would have lined him up for maybe a couple of minutes at the end against Fulham, just to get him back into that swing of things with the match. So for me, it's not going to be any of those options. I think it's going to maybe be Harvey Elliott. Now, again, he's one who's got through a little bit of football at the moment, and he kind of ran himself into the ground against Fulham. I didn't think it was absolutely his best performance, but in terms of work rate, I thought he was unbelievable against Fulham. He really did run himself into the ground, but I don't think he will be in the starting 11 against Chelsea, and so I think you can use him in this one. Maybe it's just for an hour. Maybe you give Kay Gordon 30 minutes off the bench, or maybe just Núñez to really protect Elliott and make sure you're not putting too many minutes into his legs. But I think Harvey Elliott, he can play that right hand side. When he has done recently, it's not looked absolutely electric, but he's more than capable. And again, it's Norwich at Anfield. Can you get away with it in a game like this? I would really think so. I mean, I thought he was very good there actually against West Ham earlier in the League Cup earlier this season. So Harvey Elliott's certainly capable of playing there. Maybe just for an hour to as I say, not to put too many minutes in his legs. But he's my pick on that right hand side. I'll move into the centre forward role now. And as I said, you want to protect Núñez. Don't want him having back-to-back games. And I don't think that Cody Gakpo is going to start against Chelsea either. So again, he's my pick in this one. I think he's the one who comes into the centre forward role. Still keeps your front line very strong, doesn't it? I think Gakpo he always does well when he comes in. Been tried out a little bit on the right hand side actually recently, and I don't think that's a perfect position for him. Really do like him in this centre forward role. He plays it in a very similar way to Roberto Firmino, doesn't he? So quite looking forward to see another opportunity for him to do that. I think he's certainly capable of firing Liverpool into the next round at Anfield. No doubts about him from me at all around that. So he's my starting pick in the centre forward role. And I'll just finish off now with that left hand side. And as I say, I think Diaz, didn't want him on the right wing. I probably don't want him on the left wing. I think again, he's someone who's going to be in the starting lineup against Chelsea. So you want to protect him again. He's not someone I think he's going to maybe start this one. So for me, that only leaves Diogo Jota. And again, I think he's going to be in the starting lineup against Chelsea. I don't doubt that for a second. He's Liverpool's main goal threat without Mohamed Salah around. But he didn't start against Fulham. And again, it comes into that discussion, doesn't it, around, yes, you want to protect your players, but you also need to keep them in rhythm. And I don't think the manager ever likes to leave a player out of 2 games on the bounce just to protect them from injury. So I think for this one, you're going to see Diogo Jota come back in on that left-hand side, and another chance for him really to keep up his incredible goal-scoring form at the moment. And also, if he can get some more goals, like a couple of more goals before Chelsea, keep his confidence right up. He's going to be absolutely crucial in terms of that game because of his massive goal threat, and he still has to keep things going, as all the forwards do. With Mohamed Salah away at AFCON, you really need to keep Jota in form. So good opportunity to do that here. So that's my starting 11 against Norwich City. As usual, let me know in the comments what you think. Maybe I've got this one completely wrong. Maybe I've got just one position completely wrong. Just please do leave me your starting 11s. Always interested to read those and see how you would think about these games and how you would go out if you were the Liverpool manager. As usual, I'm going to say if you like this video, please do drop me a like. It always helps to get the videos out there. And if you don't subscribe, please jump on board. What an exciting season Liverpool are having at the moment. They're fighting on four fronts, so many more games to come, and it's already got a cup final in the bag. It's a really exciting time to follow along with Liverpool. So please do click that subscribe button. And as I say, because it's so busy, so many videos to come, so many previews, so many match reviews to come, then as ever, I will see you very, very soon.